Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today I'm going to review Troilus and Cressida by William Shakespeare.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando il riposo, Narcisetto ad un giro d'amor. Delle belle turbando il riposo, Narcisetto ad un giro d'amor.
Troilus and Cressida is a tragedy and indeed falls into the category of some of Shakespeare's Greek plays. He wrote quite a few plays that take place in ancient Greece and indeed Rome. This one especially will be very familiar to a lot of you because it retells some of the Trojan Wars. So if you are at all familiar with the Iliad or the Odyssey, you will recognize a lot of the characters who appear. As the title would suggest, the two central characters are Troilus, a prince of Troy and younger brother to Paris, who is desperately in love with Cressida, a beautiful Trojan woman who is constantly being compared to Helen, who of course now lives in Troy but is in fact Greek. And it is because of Helen that the Greeks and the Trojans have been at war lo these many 7 years. In the middle of all of this, Troilus and Cressida are trying to work up the nerve to confess their love to each other. I can't tell you any more of the story than that for fear of spoilers, but I can tell you that that storyline is the part that works relatively well. Troilus on his own doesn't really stand up as a character. However, I'm very intrigued by Cressida, who is set up from the beginning as an incredibly witty woman. I would even put her on par with, say, Rosaline or Beatrice. But the fact of the matter is that their story does not take up the bulk of the play. Most of the play is dedicated to watching all of the Greek warriors and politicians, such as Menelaus, Agamemnon, Ulysses, Paris, Achilles, Patroclus, figure out how best to defeat one another in war, how to spur Achilles on to show his prowess on the field, whether Ajax or Hector would be the greatest hero of the wars, all of which we know already. I haven't even read the Iliad, and I am very familiar with how this story goes. At first I thought, okay, Shakespeare needs to lay a bit of a backstory for his audience to understand how Troilus and Cressida are coming together and the kinds of odds that they are up against. And in a way he does. But honestly, I think this was just an opportunity for Shakespeare to adapt the Iliad to the stage without encountering any sort of copyright issues. Even though, yes, I know copyrights did not exist in the 15 and 1600s. I then thought, all right, reading it is a bit boring, but they are meant to be seen. So I watched the BBC film from, I believe, 1981, starring a number of people who I actually recognized, most notably Anton Lesser as Troilus, who is unrecognizable as a younger man, but his voice is unmistakable. And Benjamin Whitrow as Ulysses. Yes, the same Benjamin Whitrow who played Mr. Bennet in the 1995 Pride and Prejudice. So the inclusion of both of those actors certainly made these long speeches more pleasant to listen to. However, I did find myself zoning out quite a lot and wishing that they would just get on with it some of the time. There are wonderful moments between Troilus and Cressida. In Act 3, when they finally come together, they have wonderful conversations, and watching it acted out is incredibly beautiful. And then they disappear. They're introduced in Act 1, and then they disappear up until that point in Act 3. And then another event happens in Act 4, and you think, okay, this is where the drama is going to kick off. But no, it ends not in tragedy involving Troilus and Cressida, but in tragedy involving the heroes of the Trojan Wars. Overall, I could see how this story was meant to be a star-crossed lovers scenario, very much like Romeo and Juliet, but I don't think it had the structure that it needed to work the same way that Romeo and Juliet does. If you are intrigued by the classics and Roman and Greek history, I would definitely recommend that you check it out. Maybe you'll have a different perspective on it than I do. If you have any opinions at all, please let me know down below. But until next time, be safe, be well, and happy reading. Bye everyone.